Alright guys, this is super important to me. I appreciate you guys hopping in and checking the video out. I'm going to be right about some things, I'm going to be wrong about some things. I've done my best to keep track of the progress with Eden and the changes and everything that has happened since before Season 1 even released. And I've been there for the entirety, and the only time that I actually dropped off was in Season 3, where I felt as if things were just consistently disappointing me. And yes, this is a personal opinion of mine a lot of the time, but I do also feel as if there's a large portion of the community that's probably on the same page as I'm viewing it. So this isn't really necessarily a video. I kind of wanted it to be a video where I'm just trashing on Eden, because it is actually extremely disappointing how hard they're crashing out and throwing rocks into the pond and just seeing where the ripples go, and I feel as if they don't even know what the hell they're doing anymore. So yeah, there is absolutely some irritation on my end with the direction that the server is going and the choices that the team is making. And that's okay for me to feel that way. And if people are upset about me feeling that way or having any opinion going against the Eden team, you guys have your place to be and you can continue doing so. It really makes no difference to me. So let's give Eden some praise. They did some amazing stuff. They have an extremely skilled team. I've always said this. We got floating combat techs. We got amazing events. We got an awesome server infrastructure. We have separate servers interlinked with one another, handling the recorder system, and so on and so forth. These guys are able to do unbelievable and amazing things. And it all started beautifully. I thought Eden was just always, from here on out, gonna be the place to be. I was convinced. I was totally in. And we were aware that it was always gonna be a custom thing, and that was their philosophy, and that's okay. Because as it started, it really was quality of life and beautiful things that felt good, and things were heading in a great direction. They were doing almost no wrong. The Eden team, for the almost entirety of Season 1, could almost receive nothing but praise. And it's so interesting to have seen this flip-flop. The list of negatives is probably the same size, but maybe a little bigger than the list of positives. So remember, the Eden team has done great for as long as they chose to be great. But things have changed. The way they treat their community has changed. The Discord environment, the way that they manage it, has changed. We know that the Dark Age community is volatile. Wacky. We've always been that way. Whether you fault us or fault them is whatever. But we're talking about a management standpoint with the Discord and all that. That has absolutely changed. Of the way that they view, treat, and communicate with their own community members. So we'll leave it up to the Eden community and the people that like feel as if the Eden team still can do no wrong. We'll leave it to them to make the positive video. That's not why I'm here. There's other servers on the horizon. And I want to start with that I have played all the way through every single server community created from start to finish. I value my opinion. And I'm sure that a lot of other human beings in the world tend to value their own opinions. I think that's kind of a natural thing. But I really value my opinion when it comes to this game. I have invested a very unhealthy and borderline sad amount of hours into this game. And when I see it taken in the direction that Eden is taking it, it's upsetting. The MMO genre, the MMORPG genre, most companies and investors won't touch this genre with a 100-foot pole. They're done. It's just possible that this is not going to even be an existing genre in the future at all. It is a possibility. So here's the things that I really wanted to mention. This is for future servers, and it's not like a don't do or don't do list. This is a inconsistency list, a problematic list, in my view, that creates a cascading effect of problems that end up getting out of control and unable to be managed because there's just so much happening. I'm gonna call it the Eden roller coaster, because that's what this has literally been. One of the crazy, I'm just gonna go down the list. Here we go. I made notes, and I don't usually do that. The tank class resists. Each realm only has one tank. These tanks are supposed to provide a very, very strong frontline support system that makes casters accidentally target these tanks, prolonging the duration of fights, this, that, and the other, allowing a certain class to for healers to keep up easier. They just survive longer. They were built that way. They are wonderful that way, and they should have stayed that way. Tank classes had their magical resistances cut from 20 to 10. Now, you would say, not really a big deal. How could that really affect things in a way that is just super detrimental to the core mechanic of the game? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the casters gained a resist debuff from 15, 30, and 50%, I believe. And what I put on the notes is, good luck gathering data when you do those two changes at the exact same time, right? Okay, little hasty. So now you even have heavy tanks dying in a fraction of a second. And you no longer have this beefy front line. The caster train, debuff resist train, can make fights instantaneously over. And I don't think that is how Dark Age always was. We had these prolonged, fun, back and forth, stalemated fights. Even the wars, even the big BGs versus BGs. And we'll get to that. Changing the cost amounts to certain RR abilities. We're all over the place. Things were changed. All this was changed. Values were changed. The cost of them were changed. Whatever. Life tap DD bonus that was passively there was removed. Okay, taking that out. The golem system in BGs, changing the keep take dynamics entirely, which was a core function of Dark Age in the Battlegrounds. Getting a free level for taking a CK in the Battlegrounds, which then made it frowned upon for defending the keep for your realm in that Battleground, because you're like, no, you have to let them take it so we all get a free level for retaking it. Just weird. Just weird. Insane Hyper EXP rewarded quests, which destroyed traditional leveling, ruining social relationship building 1 through 49, and even the relationship building of your own character, because you're just AFK quest spamming all the way to cap level. And how do you connect with your own character when you didn't even have a journey? It's ridiculous. The tutorial 1 through 10, you get a level plus per turn in. It's just, it was way too much, way amped up. Making the first part of the world of Dark Age of Camelot meaningless and non-existent. Yes, you were thrown into these parts of the areas, partial community members, but they had those super overamped hyperspeed leveling quests as well, meaning you're freaking out of there. And then the quest just continued that way, where you're just flying to level 50. Everyone had every class that was desired for meta groups in less than a month, and all templated. Making people feel like they don't truly bring value by picking their class to defend their realm. I mean, how is that's totally legit. Changing almost every single class style system, while at the same time making vital styles for classes have no hit bonuses, which allowed some classes with melee to have a 12 to 15% chance to miss their target with melee for no reason other than bad design. I mean, it's huge. Tampering with armor proc percentage chances, giving certain realms items and bonuses and procs and other items they never had before, or at the same time allowing certain realms to never get what the other two realms had, like healers with Arcane Siphon. Constantly tampering with damage and growth rates on styles, causing things to ignore armor factor, ignore the type of armor you're wearing, like chain, studded, plate. Way too much calculation changes and reverting. And I put here, I imagine that they truly at this point have lost track of where the base even is anymore. There have been so many changes and so much messing around with these things that could they even go back to square one at this point? Do they even know where that is? It's insane. It's just, I feel like it's out of control. They're just all over the place. It's chaotic. Huge events and systems that the community loved, like Realm Invasion. Can you imagine how much work that... I mean, how much time did they put into that? And how much did the community rave about that? Just to be thrown away and scrapped permanently for no reason whatsoever by using the excuse of seasons. I don't know. That is another blow. And then I even put right here, Rollercoaster of fucking Eden. Full revamps of class functionality. Give this skill, take that skill away. Add 25% damage bonus to this skill. Take 25% damage away from that skill. Your speed of sound not being able to be used while you're solo. You can only use it in a group. Hey, here's a realm ability that you leveled your realm rank on, but you're not allowed to use it. If you decided to log in one day and just run around and play the game, we tell you what skills you can and can't use in certain situations. Yeah, because we run the show. We're Eden. It's like, some of this stuff is just nutty. I feel like they're just messing with the community at this point. Totally reworking the Berserker class ability Vendo mode, but then the RR, like, balancing it out when it comes to the vulnerability. It's like, so why have the RR if you just use the RR at the same time, and then it takes away a little bit of the vulnerability? Well, how about not have the vulnerability, and then you could have the RR give its actual bonus, and you didn't have to, like, use them together to counteract one another, because then one makes one better and one makes one worse. What's happening? Like, it's just dumb. Berserker is already a little bit weak. They got studded armor on. The Blade Master has a counter to that because their triple wield makes it so they can't get crit on. But then the Berserker gets a damage add benefit, but it weakens him at the same time. Like, it's just... What are y'all doing? Giving archers the ability to have a 50% evade cap. So what that means is that they actually had like a 65 to 70 evade cap in the beginning, over cap, because even when you have a non-dual wield class that still has a 30% to 33, 34% defense penetration, now the archer is still at 50%. Not an assassin, an archer. Yeah, so think about how fun scouts are. And somehow at the same time, people can drop like flies. It's the inconsistency of this game now is just like I said, it's just throwing rocks in a pond. It's like, I don't freaking know. The ripples, they go everywhere. We don't really have any sort of plan. I don't know, man. Giving the assassins the teleport like Live has it. Oh, let's differentiate ourselves by being a unique community server, but then also copy pastaing things that are in Live that people don't like and the reason that we don't play there. Like, it's just the dumbest crap ever. They're like fried. I think they just need to back off, shut the server down for a couple years and come back and try again, dude, because I don't think there's any planning going into anything or any thought process. These guys are coders and programmers, but their critical thinking skills are almost non-existent, dude. They're freaking robots, man. Do they really even know what Dark Age of Camelot is? Like, some of the shit that these guys are doing is just retarded. Straight up. It's absolutely totally freaky frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the perf damage, like ignoring armor and ignoring the armor type, and some classes don't even have 2400 hits like casters, and that's how hard Shadow Blades are two-hand pumping. Like, okay, what's happening? Yeah, and then they go and they like triple patch. They're like, triple patch, will change all these values and calculations to try to even things out because we just changed everything. And then I put here as a note, who knows if they even know the values, where the values were to begin with, if they even wanted to put it back to an original state at this point. Like, how much testing would that they'd have to go through for that? This is crazy. Bringing even more fumble procs and fumble uses that also add a terrible mechanic to begin with, because it makes melee combat feel clunky, inconsistent, and also adds a dehaste when you do fumble. So you're just like standing there wondering when your character might swing again, and like, it's not Eden's fault for that, but they should understand that Dark Age of Camelot doesn't feel good from fumble mechanic. It's not a good system. It's not a good mechanic. So when you then exacerbate that issue by adding more opportunities to implement fumble into melee and use abilities, you're just exacerbating the problem. It's dumb as hell. The champion abilities, I warned before Season 2 or whenever it was implemented started. It's just such a blur at this point because I've been so involved with the server and playing it, not involved with any sort of feedback usage, because I literally got turned down when I offered my time and dedication and assistance to provide some sort of mediator in between position to where I could help them maybe with just tossing around ideas. But you know, all of these community creators, server managers and all this are just so freaking grubby and want to keep their circle so tight that they just literally never want anything to do with the community, which is always frustrating and totally disappointing. There's plenty of people even more knowledgeable than myself out there about this game that I'm sure that they turn down as well and don't want anything to do with, because they are hooked and fixated on what their vision is for Dark Age of Camelot, and they could give a flying about anybody else's opinion. I warned that, and I got scolded by a dev, by the way, afterwards for warning them about this, but they added champion abilities that ruin class identity, which I warned and was scolded by a dev, that, hey, it's going to happen no matter what, so basically back off, Worldly or Drakkar, whatever you go by now. Then a few months later, they start rapidly changing the champ disease's cast time and its duration and the range that it can be used along with the other castable spells within the champion line. Almost seems like I was f***ing right. So that's another freaking great example. The archery damage values being way overtuned and never ever looked into or fixed. They just kept it that way. And then the system is a magic base that's just like Live. You're so unique, Eden. With shot speeds being even faster, like with the elemental shots now being 5.0 seconds instead of 7.0. You don't use standard, and you pretty much don't use point blank either because it doesn't hit as hard, and it makes very little difference. And why would you ever want to not let your shot loose because somebody went 1150 range when you're running 10% on your cast range? So, I don't know. Let's keep going. Adding legendary weapons to the game, which I warned about as well, which for some classes, actually, like Savage and Melee Heretics, as an example, I'm sure there's more reasons why legendary weapons are dumb, but half of Savage's kit, abilities, class identity, and the reason for being created was their ability to be to amp up their melee defenses, and that is completely removed if you are attacked by somebody using legendary weapons. Like, you might as well just scrap it. Why is it there? All somebody has to do when they fight a Savage now is just switch to magical-based weapons, and there goes half your kit, Savage. Any fix for that? Any time to look into that, or maybe give some favoritism? No, not at all. Of course not. Why would they? Yeah, and the Melee Heretic, if they don't have their RR5 available, somebody swaps out Leggies, screw all of your spells that are meant to make you defensive against physical attacks, and for your realm abilities that you invested into physical defense to negate physical damage. You know, so now when you see a Heretic, there goes that. I'm gonna replay the little background goodie, because I'm going on a total rant, a total tangent here. But it's fun, and I appreciate you guys hanging. So, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Now, a lot of these next examples are just to kind of show that they don't really know what direction they want to go towards, because, like, they'll take and then give, and then take it again, and then they'll give it to another class, and then they'll do this, and then they'll do that, and, like, it just shows they are all over the place. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. Okay, so let's go. Where are we at? Tampering with the /XP off mechanics, making Battlegrounds a PvP, an RBR area system for leveling, quest spam only reasoning, and CK takes for free levels. Pretty much the only reason that you're there. There's no twink building, there's no hanging out there, there's no way for you to escape New Frontiers, to have a little breathing room. You still want to play Dark Age of Camelot, but you'd like to still have a little bit of PvP. Not everybody has Purge. Your CC holds on a little tighter. It is the game that you love. It's the PvP that you love. It's the feeling that you love. It's just a little toned down, a little tuned down. That way, you know, you can just have a slightly different experience. But no, Eden doesn't like that. Eden doesn't like for you to have options. They want to be in control of how they want you to play the game. And there is many, many, many examples of that being the case, not just Battlegrounds. So let's keep going. Mastery of casting. Having interrupt values now according to the level of the pet that's on you. Did it exist in Classic? Maybe it's exacerbated now on Eden. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just know it ended up in the patch notes. And Mastery of Casting is specifically designed for you to be able to cast your spells at a weaker level without being interrupted, and people have to choose to get away from you, stun you, mez you, things like that to counter it. It's called a counter, but now you can somehow accidentally, inconsistently, and sometimes you're not even aware about why it's happening, and then you're interrupted when you're mocked, and you paid for that ability and put time into your character to get that ability, and people have cheeky, cheesy little ways to get in the way of that. So weird, inconsistent. That's just the inconsistency that bothers me with that one. Cure disease on item uses and in the champion line. It's just weird. Whatever. You give root to Bard, then you take the root away from Bard, and then you give the root to the Warden, and it's just, everything is just, you know, they can't stick with the decision either. Infinite in combat poison reapplication, everybody loves it. It's fun. Yes, it's fun, but people prioritize what feels good to them when they are playing that class, and they don't look at the bigger picture. So I'll give you an example in the bigger picture. the can just reapply and never run out, basically, because we had to stack weapons in our bags back in the day for 20 plus years. We're all used to it, just how it's been. No reason to cry about it, just that's how it's always been. Making Purge kind of useless. So is Purge really just does become like a stun remover or something in that case. It was cool because you could remove poisons as well. You could take poisons off. The assassin would have to be aware of that and switch to a different weapon, or pick the weapon in his bag that has that particular poison on it to make sure he gets that back on you as soon as possible. It added a dire need for the other person to make decisions and really figure things out in the moment. It added stress, it added intensity. Everything has slowly become dumbed down and brainless, and it's not what you want to do in a competitive PvP game. Like, we don't, if it's competitive, it's PvP. Usually making things easier is not a good thing, because what that does is that now you're messing around with the skill ceiling, and people value how good they get at fighting other players in PvP in competitive environments. And when you take that away from them, and then you basically allow the players that have not earned that type of skill to creep up right underneath you or with you, and you being better or figuring ways to do things doesn't matter anymore, and so that doesn't feel good. You know, I don't think that giving to others should then make other people suffer. You know, you need to figure out a way to give to other players and do things for other players without it affecting the other portion of the community and making them feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. I don't know how to do it. Figure it out. You guys are the ones trying to run the show. Let's see. Let me continue. Oh, and the reason is the assassins can now keep a 40% dehaste on you at all times. You purge it, you can instantly reapply it. Now, if you guys have played Dark Age of Camelot, if you're running a melee only class, a 40% dehaste feels unreal. It feels unreal. And you know what? It could be because Eden's calculations might be out of whack as well. Maybe that 40% isn't 40%. Maybe it's 50. Maybe it's 60. Maybe it's 70. Maybe it removes your celerity and haste and adds a 40% dehaste. At this point, we don't know, because at this point, they probably don't know. It's that wacky. And then I had a suggestion on that. Let's say positional styles, right? It's difficult to land the positional styles. You get these positional styles as a reward for evading or parrying or blocking. Should there really be a poison out there that's more powerful than all of the styles in the game? Every single melee style cannot compete with that 40% dehaste. I think about 38 is around the closest, and you have to get a side attack and land the follow-up on left axe in mid. And I'm sure there's other stuff on Hib and Alb that are around that same range. But the assassin, drool hanging out of their mouth, just gets to click the button over and over. Oh, they purged. Here, let me put that 40% dehaste back on, while they just spam their abilities in your face. They don't care about their positioning. They don't care about any of that stuff. All that stuff is irrelevant now, because they can just click little buttons. Or press buttons on their keyboard if they have it macroed out. However you play the game. It's so funny. I have people that still come to my videos that, look at him click all his abilities. Dude, you just got whipped by a guy that's clicking all his abilities. How's that change anything? It's hilarious. I have more fun clicking. I literally have more fun clicking. All my movement, everything like that, I feel is on par, and then I'm like clicking my abilities and activating all my stuff, and I don't even have any of my stuff stacked on one another. I try to use everything individually and stuff like that, and I just have more fun playing the game. That's a personal preference of mine. I don't like macro stacking. If I liked macro stacking, I'd play World of Warcraft, where I could press one button and the whole freaking bar of abilities would just activate all at the same time. I'll pass. But if that's fun for you, that's cool. Not a big deal. This is a funny one. So this is like not huge. It's just, huh? These are just, huh? Moments. Getting items from monsters that are your level, but you're not allowed to equip them until you are later level. So imagine killing a named mob and you get a necklace and you're like, oh cool, this is awesome. I can't use it. It's just, I think it's stuff like that's kind of embarrassing, to be honest. Like, really, you guys? Let's see. Yeah, so many changes to what items you can and can't use at what level. I've lost track. God, dude, so many changes that these guys have made to combat BG twink characters, or whatever their reasoning was behind all of this. But you can't even keep track at this point. It's like that used to be usable then, and now you can't use it till then, and it's just like, how much time did they put into that for no reason? Why? Because they turned XP off. The XP off, they disabled that. So all the work and effort and all the stuff and all the intricate little level changes and restrictions that they made for all the items, yeah, that's out the window now, because you can't even stay in BGs if you want it. So, like I said, these guys don't even know where they stand. They're just erratic. Let's see. Raid items being so easily obtained that they are no longer special and just required for your template for the 100th character that you made that month. There's no value in items. The market's not real. It's just Twilight Zone shit, dude. The currency amount is just way too much, and everybody's got 100,000 of each currency and infinite amounts of plat and 3 of every raid item in the game, and all the bank space is clogged, and there's no value to anything anymore. Like, you're not, oh cool, you got that chest piece. Oh awesome, he ran that raid and ended up getting that weapon. No, that doesn't exist. Yeah, why would we have that in an MMORPG, right? Like, it's so off base. They're so out of touch, man. Straight up. Creating custom group content just to later nerf the items that you obtain from these encounters, making them no longer desired to even run or obtain those items. So, like, all the time and effort they put into Kobold City and Sobekite, there's no point anymore. And like, these were really cool dungeons. They did a great job. These were really awesome environments. They put a lot of effort and time into building these. And then they nerfed the items in a way, right? They could have gone about these things in a different manner and found a better middle ground to not just shove their own fists up their asses. Like, it could have been done, man. But then they just wrecked the items obtained there, so they literally don't get ran. They're dead. Like, no one does them. And so all that work, like I said, in the trash. Like so many other things. Ignoring community feedback on changes that weren't well received, only to force their own vision of what Dark Age should be. That is a very powerful one, and that is the truth. And if you don't agree with that, you're one of the cult members. You have to admit, even if you like Eden and you like the Eden team, you have to admit that they absolutely despise and have kind of like a disdain for their own community nowadays. They have changed. Their entire attitudes have changed when it comes to feedback and discussion. And that's the truth. It just is. I'm not raging about that. It's just obvious. They're ban sprees and channel removals, and them coming out and saying the hamster wheel and the nuclear emojis when the server accidentally went down or something happened with the server, and the community innocently and for fun would go into Discord and like put the emojis of, the hamster wheel, all that kind of stuff, and then they made it a rule that you can no longer do that. Like, how sensitive have these guys gotten? It's just nuts. It's nuts. They're just They've fallen off, man. They've fallen off. Like, how do you fall off in 3 years, dude? You guys are a mess. Yeah, banning and removing community members for speaking heavily about said changes, but allowing other community members to absolutely and totally abuse, trash talk, and harass and wreck the other community members only if they're the ones that agreed with those changes, giving them total immunity. And I've seen it firsthand. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours after lots and lots of changes watching this. The Eden devs and moderators in Discord will watch with a smile on their face other community members rip and shred any other community member that disagrees with the Eden changes, and they're just sitting eating popcorn and loving it and letting other people run other people off of the game, out of Discord. But at the same time, it's that like meme you see where the guy's eating popcorn and then something instant like happens and like, oh, they spill the popcorn bowl and popcorn goes spilling and they start hitting the keyboard. They do that when anybody starts to get a little bit rowdy about not agreeing with the change that the Eden team made, and they'll start firing back. I've seen the Eden devs and Discord moderators and stuff and people in charge of even damage control or trying to keep the peace. They don't do that. They join in. They join in like piranhas blood in the water, dude. They just all team up together. That's why like the Eden Discord is like a cult now, bro. It's a cult. I'm telling you. It's really, really scary shit. Do not drink the Kool-Aid, you guys. Get out of there. Removing realm points earned from healing your realm mates due to insane, unchanged, and unlooked into spread healing classes able to heal themselves and their 7 other group mates, not even the BG or raid, capable of healing for 200 to 500,000 up to 500,000 in a matter of a few hours of gameplay. So the middle finger to all of you healers out there that enjoyed healing your out-of-party group mates and getting little tastes and little chunkies of realm points for contributing because of one class that they decided they just want to let be out of control. So let's completely remove an entire system that has been a part of Dark Age because we don't want to look into it. We just don't feel like it. We're going to do bigger and better things than worry about the Warlock spread heal. Screw it. The recorder system. Very impressive system. Wow, it is. It actually is. They have a secondary server dedicated to the inputs of the recorder system so it doesn't stress the actual server itself. Really impressive. These guys are nuts. Like, they've got some serious skill. There's no taking that away from them. And I've never once tried to. But you know what it still does? And it's still just silly? Is it allows you to mash one button and with 4 skills loaded in it. So in the past, which is like World of Warcraft, right? You're pressing a macro and it's loading up a plethora of abilities, which just makes you able to just no-brain a bunch of different unique positional and counter-attack abilities without you putting any thought process into it or caring about your position or your gameplay. It's kind of out of this world. And I put as a detail on that is instead of a well-timed choice made by the player, which removes the skill gap, is a big no-no in a competitive game because you definitely don't want to be removing skill gaps and just squishing everybody on the same level. It feels weird in a competitive environment. So what's interesting is that you end up being more surprised and caught off guard when you land a rear attack, because of course you're still going to manually be going for side attacks. I'm not going to take that away from, I mean, that's obvious. But let's say in the past you would be like putting effort into landing a rear attack because you want to like snare them, or you want to make sure they don't get away, right? And sometimes if you juked as the defensive, you juked and kind of confused the other player, you could slip away so they can't get that rear snare attack, and you could actually get distance on them. But with the recorder, the offensive player, if the defensive player turns to run, you get surprised as the offensive character because your character just like automatically lands a rear snare, and you're like, oh, okay. I didn't mean to make a good decision. It just happened. So, I mean, it's dumb. It's dumb. When you evade and you parry, and you used to have to make the choice, am I focusing on defensive abilities or am I focusing on a rear attack? This, that, and the other. It added windows. We don't have windows anymore. We don't have opportunity windows for the defensive and the offensive. So all skills can land at all times, no matter what you're doing. So it just removes such a deep aspect of the melee combat that was fun. Oh, I feel really good that I made the conscious decision to not try to load my evade anytime, because I knew that guy was about to decide to turn around and run. So I chose to pick my rear attack in any time, and I made the right choice because they did. They tried to turn and run, and I grabbed them. That's gone now. Those things are all gone now. I don't like it. It's stupid. Making bleed as powerful as disease, and shutting off things like Scald's regeneration song and Friar's regeneration style staff. That's a small example, but that's just a new mechanic that the Eden team decided that they wanted to be in charge of, and make that decision for you. So now, there you go. Have fun. Giving almost every class in the game access to the 5% HP per tick, 30-second duration HP hot that is not affected by disease or bleed. Very powerful, but is it? Because everyone has it. So I don't think it's very unique, and I don't think that you are valued for finding a way to fit that in your template, because everybody has it. Oh, sorry. Yep, I am going hard, dude. I'm going hard. This is a big one, boys and girls. So yeah, everybody has it, and it's a very powerful ability. It's a ignore pain regeneration. Yeah, that's not a big deal at all, and everyone has it. Even casters are able to utilize it in their templates. Not able to do them any good. Let's see. Let's keep going. I'm on a roll. Where we at? Where we at? We got the recorder. I even put on the notes, oh wow, my character just used a rear style by himself, and being surprised instead of feeling good about getting the attack off yourself at the right time. And it only worked because of the choice that someone else made that had nothing to do with you as the offensive player. Oh, based, man. Based. Let's see. Changing light tank's charge duration from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. Petty, weird, I don't know. What? It's just, that's kind of a funny. It's just a funny. It's not like, oh, it's terrible that they did that. It's just, I don't know. It just seems so small, and like, what real difference can it make? To be honest, who knows? But you know what? They did it. They did it. You know why? Because they're in charge. And what they want to do, they do. Because we should just be grateful that they give us the free Eden server to play Dark Age of Camelot. And they can do no wrong, because they are providing us a free service, and they're dedicating their free time for us to have Eden. So don't you understand that just means that we need to at all times bow down and kiss their feet 24/7? They can do no wrong. For what they give, they cannot do wrong. It almost sounds like a Bible verse, dude. Like, you guys are cult members at this point. It's sickening. God, man. So many opportunities, so many opportunities to make Darkness Falls since you took Battlegrounds away and we don't have a secondary place to PvP RVR in the entire game. There's so many opportunities to make Darkness Falls a second fun option for RVR and PvP, but they refuse to even attempt it. They even added merchants in a entirely different zone, so people didn't even have to go in DF to buy their items. They can just easy mode it in a PvE only dungeon and buy all their raid gear. So if it's not Zerg raid content that is PvP RVR, there's no reason to be there to fight other players. And they just have unending amounts of opportunities to create systems in there. And they don't, because why would they? Why would they do anything besides Season 1 when they were just in the genius mode that they were in when it came to Season 1, and they were just kicking ass and doing all kinds of awesome stuff. And by the time it was halfway through Season 2 to where we are now, all the way until where we are now, they've done nothing but shit the bed, in my opinion. Yeah, campaign's cool, got some cool mechanics. They've added and done a lot of work to add cool systems to the campaign and all that, and like all those things are cool, they are good, but they giveth with one and taketh with the fucking other. Like the Eden team is a 3-step forward, 2-step back team, and I'll never ever leave that opinion. They really are. They only take these baby steps at all times because they fuck up so often. It's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Let's get another one in there. Let's creep a little bit more. It's just the Eden team in a nutshell, dude. Yeah, so I was watching old school Dark Age of Camelot videos, and if you don't believe me, go fucking watch them yourself. It's just for real. They had these really cool fights, Zerg fights, that had an open field, no walls, no keeps, no towers, and no line of sight breaks. And these 2 armies were just holding ground, dude. It was so cool. It was so awesome how Dark Age of Camelot really used to be. When you take away heavy tanks resist and then add a insane resist debuff to casters and people are dropping like flies, these Zerg fights and the big wars, when they're open field, it only takes seconds, literal microseconds, for one army to pretty much completely and totally falter and be defeated and go on the absolute and total retreat, but in a way that they're a permanent loss. There's no retreat to reformation and then possibly hold ground and somehow come back and win again. It's more like, you know how you can think of it? It's more like an army of Zerglings versus an army of Zerglings, and it's like they just start running through each other, and there's not like this big awesome stalemate. There's not this big awesome durational battle, and that stuff does exist when it comes, but keep walls, towers, huge what do you call it, where you tunnel these fights in. I can't believe I can't think of the terminology on that. It's like 300 style stuff, right? They just funnel them into these enclosed areas. Breakpoints. Why my brain is totally faltered on the term. Whatever. You guys know by now what the hell I'm trying to say. But those situations, yes, you can have durational fights, you can have back and forth, you can have ground held and things like that. But old school Dark Age Camelot, you could have that style of fighting and just total ground holding and stuff, and big time kiting and re-engaging in like the open field, and these fights would last for a really long time, and the casters were all in the back just like casting, clear casting, trying to kill targets, but they couldn't quite kill them because the good healers or keelers are keeping them up because they didn't have these stupid resist debuff trains insta-killing people, but fucking assist targeting and ding, 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 just dropping people like they do on Eden. It's just such a different game, dude. We're playing a different game now on Eden. And I feel like there's such a big part of the community on Eden that is supporting them still and is keeping that server rolling that really, I don't think they really were. I think they were 6-year breakers. I really do. I think they were 6-year breakers. They were 8-year breakers. They were 15-year took breaks. They didn't stay with the game their entire life like I did, and like so many other community members did. The longest Dark Age of Camelot break that I've ever taken is 6 months. And I know that's like a sad story, but I don't care. I love Dark Age of Camelot. I never stepped away longer than a year. There's things about this game that I've seen, witnessed, and been a part of that no one even knew existed. So when I see the diminishing effects of what the Eden team has been doing in recent days, it's really disheartening. And super aggravating and irritating because there's so many people out there that are like, what do you mean? It's great. Everything's great. Eden's great. This is wonderful. That works. That makes sense. And it's like, no, it really, if you knew what Dark Age of Camelot really actually was, then you wouldn't think that way. You wouldn't feel that way. Sometimes I think that these guys are hardcore coders, programmers, and stuff. And I think that they're 10-year breakers. I think they're 6-year breakers. I think that they really don't have a lifetime of Dark Age of Camelot under their belt either. I think it really shows. I think that there are a lot of, there's a lot of obvious inability for a lot of the dev team for Eden to have any sort of really deep, long, elongated thought process of critical thinking and back and forth about the true implications of changes to the game. I think that what goes through their head is, you know what's crazy, guys? We're such good programmers and coders, we could do it. We could do it. Let's just do it. That's the mentality of the Eden team. That's just like, that's my opinion. That's how I feel when I see some of these changes that are made. The list that I made, it's probably substantially longer. It's 6 in the morning. So yeah, I'm totally like, what do you call it? I'm burnt, fried from all this. I am in a 6 a.m. psychosis. But I enjoy making videos like this, and I enjoy giving content. All of this feedback is for the future servers to come. Don't make the same mistakes that Live has made. Don't make the same mistakes that every community server ever built has made. And you know what that mistake is? It's where the team's philosophy on what Dark Age of Camelot should be overshadows what Dark Age of Camelot is. Pretty simple. Pretty simple to probably try to stay away from that. It just happens every time. Every time. And it becomes a betrayal of the community. Because we don't come back to Dark Age of Camelot. Oh, let me read this. You guys might appreciate it. I put this on Blackthorn. Hopefully the right people will see it. This, he's an innocent commenter. Oslo, he was just being completely genuine. And put his opinion on my first comment, and kudos to him. He meant nothing by it. I meant nothing by my response. Probably a really good guy. He was just giving his opinion on why he thinks quests are good. So, no big deal, no problem. So this is what I put on the ideas environment for Blackthorn. Quote unquote, this is from me. I really hope Blackthorn is going to be a focus on is going to be focused on traditional leveling and grouping. The quest system on Eden and Live makes everyone just seem like bots, running from A to B to A. Hyperspeed leveling from quests. 90% of the Dark Age of Camelot world is empty on Live and Eden. Everyone is funneled to the end destination like cattle. I love that battlegrounds here on Blackthorn are going to be a wider level range as well, so people aren't popping in and out every 30 minutes like Live and Eden. I'm just praying the Battlegrounds core leveling system is killing monsters and players and not from questing. I just want Dark Age of Camelot to be Dark Age of Camelot, and for the team here not to try and chase the modern and terrible format that other MMORPGs have adopted. We have access to 50 other MMORPGs that we choose not to play for good reason. Simple and pure will equal success with this community and server. Talking about Blackthorn. Not shiny systems and easy leveling. I truly believe this with all my heart. I'm really rooting for this server. I've seen the birth and the death of every community-created server and live server that Dark Age has ever existed. They all die for the same reason. The team goes AWOL on their original mission and turns the server into their own custom vision of what Dark Age should be, and betrays their own community in the process, which I already told you before I started reading this. We need a team that respects what the core game is, gives needed quality of life, of course, but doesn't go overboard and start reaching for the stars with things that they are in no way needed. We don't crave Dark Age of Camelot because it has systems that other MMORPGs do. We crave this game because it doesn't have those systems. And of course, the amazing PvP. We also crave it for the simple reason of it having mechanics, systems, leveling, PvP, social, and class aspects that most other MMORPGs got rid of. This is so based. I love this comment from myself. I know this was long and a total TLDR post, but it comes from the heart. One guy commented, totally innocent, he didn't mean anything by it. He wasn't trying to come at me, and this is totally normal response. He says, the quests will mainly help solo players, those who don't have time to join a group. I think groups will be able to level the old-fashioned way, experience gains very quickly. And then he asked, is there an experience bonus based on group size? Now this is also kind of the philosophy on Eden. They always claim that. Well, group leveling is better. Group leveling is better or just as good. Made no difference. Everybody quested, hyperspeeding in the BGs. Anyway, it wasn't good enough. So, this was my response to that. I said solo progress is not an all-around negative. It's only a negative when that system of progress is achievable at a rapid pace that then is on par with the grouping progression systems. If questing is a thing, then it shouldn't be prioritized even with a group, over utilizing the dungeons, the world, the monsters, killing experience. Questing very easily gets complicated and out of hand when its rewards become too large. The downfall of most MMORPGs is they make sure that all players are catered to. I absolutely love a quote a recent company made. A game for everyone is a game for no one. Dark Age of Camelot was never a game for everyone. And any of you out there, you know that's true. That's how they started. It was a unique and special and a vastly different product than any other MMORPG on the market at the time. It was not those things because of quests, ease of play, progression, or making sure that all players with different schedules were given different tools to keep up. Back in the day, MMORPGs didn't give a flying about your in real life schedule, dude, and they shouldn't now. Catch-up mechanics are one of the most negatively received systems in MMORPGs. John spent 2 weeks to get the item, but now Joe was given a specialized system that allowed him to get the same item with 2 days of play because he chose a different direction and option available to him that was later given to him down the line. talk about World of Warcraft. One person's easy way through is another person's journey being devalued, which can make other players feel cheated. This is all truth, you guys. This is all truth. I'm not freaking arrogant and I'm not cocky about my opinion, but both of these large posts, they are based as, and they are absolutely to the core true. And if you don't like it, you don't have the knowledge needed to understand the functionality of MMORPGs. Get out of here. I'm telling you, dude, you don't get it. You don't get it. It's just straight up the truth. I have dedicated my life to MMORPGs, as sad as that sounds, and I have watched my favorite genre decay into an unrecognizable state. This once behemoth of a genre that had no rival to match it when it came to player base has been abandoned by all companies and may not even have a future. I just pray Blackthorn and its team can embrace the fact that you have a better chance of success by not doing what other MMORPGs are doing and just try and respect what Dark Age of Camelot truly is and was for its community. This is not a "you are wrong" statement, by the way. This was towards that guy that made that comment. This is me saying we need to make sure that if quests are implemented, that the progress they give is done well and correctly, and that if they're going to be a part of the game. Anyway, what a hardcore video, you guys. What an intense video. Where are you getting it from anybody else when it comes to Dark Age of Camelot? No one. Never gonna happen. You got all these fluffies out there, bro. They've always been like that. You want straight up real Dark Age of Camelot content that doesn't skip out on feelings and try to cater, then you found the right channel. And if you stuck around this long, then you actually care about this game like I do. Real deal. You got so many people that'll cut out early because they don't really care about Dark Age of Camelot, dude. They don't really care about this game. They're all over the place. They bounce all over the place from game to game, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I respect that. You want to play different games, so do I. But you don't truly love this game if you didn't watch this video to the end, baby. Alright, I love you guys very much, and I appreciate you sticking around. And I'll be pumping out more videos. Blackthorn Beta. Let's see, Blackthorn Beta, don't forget it. It is going to start... Isn't it the 19th? I think it's the 19th. Just go join Blackthorn's Discord, right? These guys are claiming to be more true to the formula, and I think that's just what we need right now. Much love, guys. See you later. Thank you again for watching.